Recording. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for this program and for this short session on happy hours of coaching. I'm your coach, Ashutosh Bhattodekar, and I'll be walking you all through a topic which I think all of us have been talking about, we have been discussing about, and we are very much, I would say a lot of discussion is happening around this topic as to how the life has changed, right? How our life as coaches have changed in last couple of months, right? I mean, we call it as the new normal, but many people are already calling it as the normal, right? Whatever work we are doing, it is already being called as the normal, what we call it, right? So how do we do coaching in the new normal? That is the topic which I'll be presenting. I'll be talking about some of the inherent challenges for a coaching engagement which we faced 18th of March 2020 is when we decided to go in for a remote way of working. And I think the reason is pretty well known to everyone. The reason primarily being pandemic. Pandemic hit us, there was a lockdown declared across the world. So obviously the next best course of action was to go to home and start working from home, right? That was the best thing what could come out in that period, right? So that's the background at which this topic is being spoken by me, that how did this team actually evolve itself? What were the techniques which were used? What were the styles and approaches which were used to make sure that the effectiveness of coaching stays, irrespective of the fact whether you are working from an office, whether you are working remotely, whether you are working from home. In fact, that word work from home is also now replaced. It is now WFA. It is no longer WFH. WFH is from home. WFA is work from anywhere. So if I'm working from anywhere, and by anywhere, I mean I could be in let us say at my relative's house. I could be at, let us say, this co-working space also. I could be operating from there, or I could be operating from my own home in one of the rooms where I'm trying to operate, right? So that is what we call it as a work from anywhere. That term is now actually more appropriately called as work from anywhere, what we call it, right? So how did the coaching get impacted because of this, right? What were the areas we had to take into account, or what were the tools we had to bring about in order to make our coaching more effective? So that is what this talk is going to be all about. Yeah, and once again, welcome to all of you for joining this session. I see a lot of people on LinkedIn Live also. So thanks everyone for joining this session on LinkedIn Live also as we speak. And I'm sure many of the things which I'm going to talk, many of you would have also experienced it. Many of you would have already experienced it, or many of you would have seen that the similar kind of challenges you also faced as a part of remote working, or as a part of working from anywhere, if I were to say now, right? So let us, with that philosophy, let us go into the deep dive session. Before that, a quick small round of introduction about me. Ashutosh Bhattodekar, working as an enterprise agile coach, a trainer and a consultant. I have a YouTube channel. You can search my YouTube channel, where even this feed will go after a couple of days. This feed will also go on that YouTube channel. Agile Coaching and Transformation Leadership is my YouTube channel. I'm on Twitter, and also I've written few articles on DZone, as you can see on the screen. So please feel free to watch my videos. Feel free to connect with me on Twitter or on LinkedIn, and I'll be more than happy to get a feedback about the articles. And when I say feedback, I'm not expecting only good feedback, also any bad or an ugly feedback about the writing, about the content, or if you don't agree, disagree with any of the pointers, do connect with me so that I can share, I can improve myself better. Okay, so as I said, right, this was something which happened around 1.5 years back, but there's something very interesting I came to know about an organization. And I don't know if any one of you has heard about this organization. Have you heard about this organization? This has something to do with remote way of working, by the way, or remote way of operations. Has anyone heard about this organization? Some of you might be members also of this. I don't know. Some of you or few of you might be members also of this organization. Anyone? Looks like People have not heard. Okay, Albert knows about it. Okay, yeah, Albert. Yeah, so I think without keeping the suspense more, yeah, it is a fitness coaching group. It's actually a WhatsApp group, just like we are a part of many WhatsApp groups, right? It is actually a WhatsApp group, and they have people, like-minded people who come together and who are engaged in fitness. Okay, so this company actually thrived during COVID-19. Because what happened during COVID-19, we all know, right? We all know that all the gyms got closed. All the fitness centers were forced to remain closed. And then there were a couple of lockdowns which had come in, right? 1 month lockdown, 2 month lockdown, then it got extended. Then there was this second wave, the very dangerous second wave in India, at least it was very lethal, and which again forced people to close down their businesses, right? And this is an online fitness company. You can actually take a membership of it, and from the comforts of your home, you can do gymming. You can actually do gym exercises through this company. So what I'm trying to tell here is, if this company can do coaching through a remote way for fitness, I'm sure we as coaches in the agile world, we as scrum masters, we as agile coaches also can do something better, right? We can also do something really better using a technology. I think technology is something which has been our strength, right? We as agile coaches working in technology companies, this has been our strength. So why can't we leverage technology and do a remote way of coaching? Okay, so that's the background or an icebreaker context, what I'm trying to set here before I move into my main presentation, or before I go into my main talk around this topic of coaching in the new normal. I think we as change agents, we as scrum masters, we as agile coaches literally breathe by this statement: individuals and interactions over processes and tools. This is the first value statement of the very, very classic Agile Manifesto. Yeah, go to www.agilemanifesto.org, and this is the first statement which hits you. We are uncovering better ways. That paraphrases there, followed by the first value statement: individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Last year, what happened with me, at least, and I'm sure it might have happened with many of you. Suddenly, when pandemic hit us, we were overwhelmed with lot of tools. Suddenly, people started talking about tools. Oh, so do you have Kahoot? Do you have Slido? Let's do an interactive session on Slido, or let us use Mentimeter. Let us use Microsoft Teams as a platform for collaborating. Let us try to capture notes, right? Let us try to capture notes, or let us use these visualization tools, which are very, very popular, be it Miro, iObaya, or for that matter, Mural. Let us try to use these tools. And you know what? Lockdown was around March, as I said. In next 15-20 days, I thought that this statement now needs to change. This statement has lost its relevance. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Again, repeating here, Agile Manifesto does not say that processes and tools are not important. Definitely they are important. But what is important is individuals and interactions. So individuals and interactions overpower processes and tools. That is what we have been taught over the years, right? This is how we learned the Agile Manifesto. This is how we learned to apply the Agile Manifesto in our coaching journey. And what realization came to my mind is, probably time has come now to forget this statement, right? Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Because you would have seen this was happening everywhere, every nook and corner. There was some or the other webinar happening on Mural, Miro, how to set up quiz on Kahoot, how to use Slido as a tool, right? How do we use Microsoft Teams, Zoom? Zoom shares skyrocketed like anything, as we all know, right? Zoho Notebook, how do I capture my notes using this? So all this led me to believe that probably this statement is something which I need to forget. Anyone else thought about this? Now that you look at it retrospectively, do you think that this came to your mind, that you might have to forget this statement now forever, or at least the manifesto might need to change? Did this thought come? I'll just take a pause here to see if anyone thought like this. You can put it in the chat window, yes or no. That did you think this way? That probably the time has come for us to change this statement, or time has come for us to go, not go ahead with this statement, right? So did anyone feel like that? I was just curious to understand before we move ahead. Okay. Appropriate tools just became part of our interactions to enhance the conversations. Perfectly right. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, prima facie, even I felt that probably this is where we are in, or this is what has happened, that we have to be more now focused on tools rather than we need to be focused on individuals and interactions. Okay, so that was cut to March 2020 when the lockdown started, right? And then the $1,000,000 question. This is how we were doing coaching, right? 2019, this is how we were doing coaching. Face-to-face setting, right? In a coffee room, in a restaurant, in an office cafeteria, in an office meeting room, or in your personal space where the coachee is also equally comfortable. This is where we were doing coaching, right? This is exactly how coaching was happening, especially one-to-one coaching. If it is a team coaching, obviously you had more people there in that room or in that coaching lounge, if I were to put it in a better way. We had more people in that coaching lounge who were there, right? So this is how coaching happened. And suddenly we were thrown into a world which was like this. You are probably alone in that coaching conversation using a tool called laptop, right? Using a tool called laptop, you're sitting in some remote part of the world. You probably are not even able to see or empathize with the person who's on the other side, what he or she is going through, what are the emotions. In a face-to-face conversation, you can easily see the emotions. You can easily see. So if I'm saying I'm very happy, you can see this emotion, right? In a face-to-face setting. Or you know what, I'm very sad. I mean, you can immediately catch these emotions. But that was not happening because I mean, right now you might have probably caught some of my emotions as I reacted to these two scenarios. But in those days, I remember very succinctly, people were reluctant, and this is reluctant to open the camera. People were actually reluctant to open the camera. So I just purposely switched on the camera for those two situations. I said, I am happy. Now you understand the emotions. Or, oh, I'm very sad today. It's been a very bad day. Right now, imagine the difference between these two scenarios. Just when the camera was off, and now the camera is on, right? I think you got the difference, right? How I would be feeling. So if I'm telling you that, you know what, I'm not happy with this engagement because see, we call ourselves agile, but we are not agile. Imagine hearing this statement when the camera is off. You cannot catch that emotion. You cannot catch what that person is feeling. What are his or her pain points? What exactly is he trying to convey you as a coach? Because remember, as a coach, you are that person who's going to show mirror to that person. But before you show that mirror, you have to understand, you have to empathize with that coachee and understand what are his or her pain areas. What exactly does he or she is expecting? That is what we need to understand, right? Which was possible very easily in the picture on the left hand side, right? Okay, so that is what we saw on the left hand side. And on the right hand side is the world we are in. Okay, Albert has a very interesting comment. Today, for the first time, I saw my CPO's face. Good. So I'll tell you a very interesting incident which happened with one of my team members. It did not happen with me. We had a new team member who had joined our team. Okay, so this was a new team member. And I was a coach. There was a scrum master. And we were all interacting in a face-to-face setting like this. Okay. And one day the scrum master happened to, one day the scrum master went out for shopping. And while he was shopping, one person approached him and said, you know what, I'm a part of your team. And the scrum master was puzzled. Oh, is it? He did not recognize his team member in a shop, in a departmental store, but a team member recognized the scrum master. Okay, I mean, such kind of funny incidents started happening, right? Such kind of very funny incidents have happened in last 1 year, right? We had pets who came in the background, right? You might find suddenly someone coming from back and going away, right? And team members used to feel embarrassed. They used to say, sorry, we made a rule. No, you don't have to be sorry. These are a part of your ecosystem. These people are a part of your ecosystem, whether it's your kid, whether it's your uncle, whether it's your parents, whether it's your spouse who's running behind, they are a part of your ecosystem. And you have actually, in fact, the joke went on in one of the houses where they were told that actually the company should pay the house a rent for using it as an office. Okay, that those were the jokes which were being cracked in that era, right? Just 1 year, 1.5 years back, when we talk about working from home, right, or a remote way of coaching. Yeah. Anyways, coming back to the coaching piece of it, this was the world we were suddenly thrown into. It is not, and we were not prepared for it. Believe me, none of us was prepared for this world, which was a very, very remote world. And we actually created, so if you have a scrum team of 9 members, from one office, you created 9 offices. Suddenly you created 9 branch offices where each office had one person of your scrum team sitting there, right? So that was the area where you were thrown into suddenly, because of a major industry disruption, what we call as COVID-19, right? So this was the situation which we all landed into, right? Knowingly, willingly, unknowingly, unwillingly, we landed into this particular situation is where we landed up into, right? And initially there was a lot of excitement. So this graph is something which I have tried to pen down from an emotional perspective. There's no scientific data around it. Okay, there's more like an emotional graph that we started with ground zero somewhere in March 2020. There was initially a lot of hype. Everyone was excited to work from home, right? I'm sure first 15, 20 days, everyone was very, very happy to work out of home, right? Yes, I don't have to drive 2 hours in a city like Bangalore from Electronic City to Whitefield. I think 2 hours is an underrated statement. It could be more than that. Okay, I don't have to travel from, let us say, Kharadi to Hinjawadi in Pune, or let's say from Gurugram to Noida in Delhi NCR. I mean, we were all very, very excited. We started loving the time at home. We started learning a lot of these tools, be it Zoom, be it Miro. We were very excited to learn these tools. But slowly what started happening was that initial hype actually fell down. Okay, yeah, this happened around June, July timeframe. So March was the lockdown. March, you can say, okay, April first week we started working from home last year. By June, July, this initial hype had started falling down. And one of the reasons for that was everyone started having fatigue, right? Yes, you don't have to travel for 2 hours daily. You don't have to actually stress out in having the gear between 2 and 3 on, let us say, Outer Ring Road in Bangalore, or let us say Gurgaon Expressway, or let us say Hinjawadi Road in Pune. You don't have to do that. You can wake up at 8:55 for a 9 o'clock meeting. Quickly just dress up and attend if it is a video meeting. But still, there was a tool fatigue which had come in, right? Which had started coming in. And yes, that initial hype actually brought in a tool fatigue, right? So this was where, so initially when we were in two, right? When we were in position 2, there were also murmurs which I as coaches heard. There were murmurs that do we really need coaches? Why do we need coaches? I mean, everyone is working remotely, right? And everyone is happy. So why do we need agile coaches? Why do we need scrum masters, right? We don't really need them, right? Our team is happy. Productivity has improved. Everyone is enjoying. They've found a perfect solution. Okay. Everyone has found a perfect solution to their work-life balance, right? We started getting all those nice fancy terms. It is not work-life balance. It is work-life integration. Would have heard all these fancy terms coming out. So all this leads to the fact that do we really need agile coaches? Do we really need scrum masters? Do we really need agile coaches? And what is the relevance of this role of an agile coach? Right? I mean, we can always do without an agile coach, right? I mean, now that the team is happy, we are getting a good customer satisfaction index, right? Everyone is happy, even the customers are happy. We can live without the agile coaches, is what everyone started feeling, right? But then when the tool fatigue came, again, people started remembering us, right? No, how do we motivate our team, right? And this is, and by the time by June, July, it was pretty clear that we are not going to return back to office. Earlier, at least people were thinking that probably this is for only 2 or 3 months. March, probably by July, we will be back in office, right? But suddenly they realized that no, it is not going to happen so soon. We are not going to come back to office so quickly back, right? And from a coach's perspective also, I would say this was a period where we had to actually come back to our school. What do we mean by back to school? We as coaches had to I would say brainstorm and figure out what will work, what will not work. How do I arrest this trend? How do I arrest this trend where there's a lot of fatigue? And yes, I do see a chart that there's been a lot of webinar fatigue also. Absolutely right. Yes. I think there was one statistics which had come that every hour of the day, there were at least 5 to 6 webinars going at one point in time. Okay, in that period, 5 to 6 webinars continuously every hour of the day. Okay, not just Indian time zone. Okay, it was applicable for US, it was applicable for UK also. So that was what was the statistics which was coming. Anyways, coming back to this. So as coaches, how do we make sure that our team does not fall in that curve, right? How do we arrest this trend, right? And we again figured out that we had to go back to the drawing boards. We had to again go back to this brainstorming sessions. We had to go back to this learning sessions. We ourselves had to learn first, unlearn some of the things. Okay, unlearn few of the things. And we decided, and as I said, this was during that July-August time frame, we decided that probably this statement which I made earlier is not correct. Although tools and processes are important, what still matters is individuals and interactions. We have to somehow devise a way by which this individuals and interactions can again be, I would say, ignited. How do I ignite the individuals and interactions again, right? It was easier to do in this era. It was very easier to do here. But the challenge here was there was hardly any individuals and interactions which were happening, right? So how do we reignite it? How do we reignite this? And we started understanding the pain points of our team members. We started understanding what exactly they are missing, what exactly they are missing. See, one thing is easy to say that I'm missing office, but is it really office what you're missing? Or is it something else what you're missing? So one of the first things we did was we actually conducted a psychological safety assessment. Okay, we actually conducted a psychological safety test, a psychological safety assessment. And from that, we got a lot of interesting results. Okay, so although I have given a separate talk on psychological safety, you can have a look at my video on that. But psychological safety, just to tell you quickly, is basically, is my team able to voice their concerns without the fear of any punishment? To put it in a layman's language, is my team psychologically safe, or is my team finding it safe to challenge even what the manager of the company or the manager of the organization is saying? Am I able to say that? Am I able to voice my concerns? Again, I'm not saying that you have to be arrogant. Psychological safety doesn't mean that you have to be arrogant, but you have to be assertive. Is my team really assertive? That is what psychological safety is about. Right. So as a coaching community, we did that, and there were some very startling revelations which came to us. For example, people said that, you know what, in a few of the teams, they said that, you know what, when we speak, there's a background noise and the manager literally scoffs at us or scolds us. Okay, those were the pointers which were coming, right? There's a lot of background noise, so because of which the manager actually scolds up. Or you know what, in one of the meetings, my network connection went off when my chance came to present, and the manager thought that I wanted to run away. Okay, because I don't want to, because the manager thought that I have a fear of presenting, so I ran away, right? Then some people said that, you know what, I mean, we came on video, but the manager was not on video. Okay, the team members were on video, but the manager was not on video, right? So then it negates the very purpose of a face-to-face interaction, right? So we realized that we need to redraft our coaching plan. We need to come back again and redraft our coaching strategy and a coaching plan. And what we did was a series of trainings. Not these trainings were not on Agile and Scrum. Okay, that I think everyone knew in the organization, because this was a transformation which was running for almost 2 years. So everyone knew what Agile is. Everyone knew what Scrum is. This training was not on Agile on Scrum. This training was on how to effectively conduct meetings in the remote world. That was one of the trainings. How to increase the psychological safety score of the teams. How do we make sure that the psychological safety score is increased over a period of time, right? And we told them, okay, by the way, the psychological safety score which came out, it had a quantitative element, it had a qualitative element. So both the elements were present in it. So the examples which I gave, a pet running from behind, right? That was an example of that was more of an example of a qualitative feedback which came, and quantitative feedback was a score which came out on a scale of 5. How is the team performing, right? On a scale of 5. So there were questionnaires. Around it. Based on the responses to the questionnaires, the score was getting generated. And then obviously, I'll come to the next part of the journey a little later. but this was the approach we had done. And we realized that some things won't change. Some things won't change. So even if you are in a remote world, you have to have that face-to-face connect. In fact, we were doubting the sixth principle of Agile Manifesto also. What is the sixth principle of Agile Manifesto? Anyone remembers? The sixth principle of Agile Manifesto. Just search, you can Google it, sixth principle. We also were doubting that in the initial part of our coaching. What is the sixth principle? Anyone remembers of the Agile Manifesto? You can Google agilemanifesto.org and you'll come to know. We were doubting that principle also. But then we realized that no, face-to-face setting is required. Whether you are working from office or whether you're working from home, face-to-face setting is what is important. You still need to have that emotional connect. You still need to have that emotional bonding, although it will be limited in nature. You still need to have in that online platform, right? So that is what we decided to go in. It was a focused coaching which we had with the teams, especially the teams which had got a lesser psychological safety score. The teams which got a lesser psychological safety score, we had that. See, one difference we found was that in a face-to-face setting, that emotional connect is higher, no doubt. Okay, but what also happens is that in a remote setting, there were different kind of visual distractions. In a face-to-face setting, there are still visual distractions. I don't know if you have observed, okay? Even in office, when you're doing coaching, there are visual distractions. We realize that. So let's not blame people if some of the family members is running from behind or a pet is running from behind, because visual distractions are there in office. I'll give an example. Let us say I'm in a coaching session with one of the team members, and we all know, right? The people know which meeting rooms we are normally in, right? Suddenly you'll find your manager coming in and saying that, Ashutosh, can you work on this proposal? So that coaching session gets disturbed, right? Or you are in a cafeteria sitting and talking, and suddenly someone comes in and says that, can I join you? Right? I mean, those visual distractions are there in office also. We should understand that. It is not that only if you're working from home, you have visual distractions. The only thing you have to understand is that these visual distractions are different. There's a difference in visual distraction. Okay. So in a remote setting, the outlook is neutral. There are less biases. That is the advantage you have, right? You don't exactly get that emotion catch, but that is actually an advantage because there are less biases. The meetings obviously had to be shorter. So for example, if I'm conducting a 1 hour meeting in a coaching session in office, I had to scale it down to 40 minutes in a remote setting, right? So that is what I had to do, because obviously you have to also understand the retention capacity of the coach and also of the coachee. It applies to both of them, right? So shorter meetings, lot of data is getting recorded in the sense you can tape this conversation, you can record the conversation, you will be writing some notes. So there's a lot of focus on writing is what I found out. In fact, one good skill, I won't say I picked up, but it was there, which actually had got, I would say, I had forgotten that skill, but I again picked up in lockdown is writing. Okay, so writing something on a piece of paper. We were never used to it, but now I've got used to it, right? Writing something on a piece of paper and a pen, right? With a pen, right? So that is what is the new skill which I've reignited in this COVID-19 period. So coming back to coaching, yeah, these were some of the contrasts. These were some of the contrasts which were there between what we call as the remote way of coaching and a traditional way of coaching, right? So these were some of the things which were definitely beneficial, or which actually changed the way the coaching exercises were carried out, right? So again, as I said, what I realized was that individuals and interactions over processes and tools. It is not individuals and interactions and the tools are not important. Definitely tooling is important. Tooling is something which is very, very vital and important. So based on this, some key tips which are coming. There has to be a coaching agreement that still stays in a physical world, that still stays in a remote world. But in a remote world, you have to understand the limitations of coaching, right? Then have a firm agenda, right? Don't go for a meeting which does not have an agenda. There has to be a firm agenda, what we are going to discuss. The focus has to be on value. At the end of that conversation, the focus has to be on value. Am I getting out of it? It is applicable for both coaches as well as coaches. Am I getting anything out of it? The visual connect is very, very important, which means you have to turn the video on, right? That is what we discovered. It has to be the video on both sides. A safe environment. In fact, we found that people were actually more vocal when they were working from home, because now they know that the boss may not enter into my room, right? They could tell anything about their managers. We found actually their psychological safety increased over a period of time, because now I'm at home, right? I can tell anything about my reporting manager, right? I feel that the reporting manager should not have acted in this way in yesterday's meeting. I can very well say that to you, right? If you are my coach, right? In fact, that was the biggest advantage we found in work from home. When people were actually, after a period of time, people were very, very vocal. They were very, very candid, and they became more open about the wrongs. Again, it is not about person blaming. It is about the system. It is about the process, right? And they were pretty vocal, because they knew that this is a one-to-one session. This is a one-to-one session, and no one is going to enter this room. In office, what used to happen was, at least there was a fear that, oh, if I'm talking something that, oh, you know what, Ashutosh is a crazy person. Moment I say Ashutosh is crazy, the door opens, the meeting door opens, and Ashutosh is there, right? So that fear factor had gone. That fear factor definitely went out. And we could also capture and play back. I mean, obviously with the due permission from the coachee, if you wanted to go back to the conversation, we could always capture and play back that conversation. So these were, in fact, it proved to be an advantage. Remote coaching proved to be a very, very big advantage, more from the point of view, the point of view of basically the coachee is where this remote coaching actually played a very, very crucial role. Okay, another tool which we used, another interesting tool which we used is the Story Cubes tool. I don't know if anyone has seen this tool or used this tool. It is actually a tool, you might be surprised. This tool could be with your kid actually in the house. This is a tool which is used by kids to write stories. So if you want to teach a child how to write fairy tales or how to write stories, you can use this Story Cube. Okay, it comes from a company called Rovi. It is available on Amazon.com. So you can order this tool on Amazon.com. We actually use this as a gamification technique of coaching. So how does this tool work? There are 9 dices, and these dices don't have numbers. These dices don't have numbers to it. Okay, they have pictures. They have pictures to it, as you can see. And you can either use 9 cubes or normally what I do is I ask teams to use only 3 dices. Okay, and when you roll the 3 dices, the combination of picture comes in. So based on that picture, try to come out with a story. Try to come out with a story based on the picture. For example, if I get a question mark in this dice, if I get a fish in this dice, and if I get a book in this dice, what story can one build from a coaching perspective? Can you tell me what story can be built on this coaching perspective? Question mark, book, and let us say fish. If I get these 3 pieces together, what can be the story which can be built out of these 3 pieces? Anyone? Anyone would like to make an attempt here? Fish was thinking something to read. The picture is a fish, question mark, and a book. Fish, question mark, and a book. So what exactly can you interpret from this? Fish, question mark, and a book. So that's what I said. I mean, you have to build the stories. You'll have to build the stories around it. For example, question mark can be, I'm unclear. Okay, I'm unclear at the moment. So I'm like a fish in the water, which is unclear, or I'm like a fish in the water, which is struggling to basically swim. And a book can be that I want to learn something. I want to learn something new. Okay, fish had a question about how to hook, how to escape a hook. So it read a book on how to escape a hook in the ocean. Perfect. Yes. I mean, so you have to build stories around it. Okay. By the way, this tool has also been used in our coaching engagements to write user stories. Okay, this tool has been used to write user stories also in a coaching engagement, right? So we have product owners who use this tool to write user stories. This helps them identify any missing scenarios. So this is one of the tools which was also used for coaching, which actually helped us to understand the various scenarios, which were there, right? Another tool is, of course, this, I must thank my friend Priya here, Priya Patra, for actually giving me this tool, because this was her, I mean, she has also given a webinar on this. The Story Cubes webinar is what she has given, where she has talked about this tool in detail in one of the conferences, where she actually is using this as a gamification technique. So she actually first introduced this tool to me, and then of course I have been using this tool in my coaching journey. Another tool is this very famous Management 3.0 picture cards, similar to that cube only, but there are multiple picture cards. You see a lot of picture cards here, as you can see. And this tool, by the way, can also be used in retrospective. So you can also use this tool for conducting your retrospective. So if you want to conduct a retrospective, these pictures will give you an indication, right? So you actually put all the cards face down, and then you randomly pick up one or two cards. And then based on that, you figure out how your sprint was how your current sprint was, what were the learnings, what you did not learn, what are the areas of improvement, etc. You could pick that using this improve card. So that was another technique which we had used to make sure that the team is engaged. We had a virtual coffee connects. We had virtual parties also as a part of this. Okay, so the rule was everyone had to bring the same dish. Okay, everyone had to bring the same dish. Everyone had to bring the same kind of a coffee or a tea, right? We had to come around that time and interact with each other. So those were some of the things which were done. So coming back to this, post October, we suddenly found that the team was reignited, as I said, right? So they were rejuvenated, if I were to put it, right? We suddenly found that the team was back to its original shape, what we had left them in pandemic. Okay, it was all because of this sustained coaching. It was all because of this emotional connect which we tried to establish with the team, tried to understand their pain points, tried to understand their areas of concerns, right? And obviously fully aware of the fact that we may not be able to physically meet, but then there were a couple of team members who started meeting as and when the situation permitted. I mean that with there was those situations also which started happening. The team members also started meeting for a coffee if they were in the same city, etc. So those situations also happened as a part of this this journey, what was there. Okay, now obviously, what was the outcome of all this? What exactly was an outcome of all this? Obviously, things really are not effective, right, till you get a proof of the pudding, right? This team actually participated in a conference, I think, which Albert knows very well. Albert was the part of the organizing team. I see Albert here. Yeah, he was a part of the organizing team, Technical Agility Conference 2021. And this team actually ended up becoming a runners-up in the Enterprise Agile category. Okay, so this was a team which had this coaching journey, which went through these trials, which went through these tribulations, and it came out of that. And this was the proof of the pudding, what this team got, right? So this is the short story of this team, which had these challenges in the remote world. How as a coaching community we help this team to come out of those challenges and to actually enhance their performance, right? As I'm speaking, the journey does not end here. Remember, we have people now being asked to come back to office, and we are going to end up in a situation where some of the team members are going to be in office, some of the team members are going to be home. So that is another curvy ball being thrown at us. So I'm sure this coaching journey, it is not an end of this coaching journey. So as I look forward, there's another dimension which is getting added to this coaching journey, where now the challenge will be that some team members will be at home, some team members will be working at office, the coach will be intermittently in office or at home, and that will be another set of challenges. See, now at least we have all our documents at one place, but what if I write something on a sticky note today and tomorrow I'm going to work from home? I might have forgotten what I've written, or vice versa, right? So that will be another challenge which is staring at us as coaches. So with that, I end my talk and I open up the floor for any questions. Meanwhile, those of you who would like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will share the link with all of you here as we speak. And if you can now come on camera, that would really be great. I think that is what I've been trying to preach. This was the reason why I was trying to preach, so that I get a photo of yours. But now if you can come on a camera, that would really be great. And yeah, I must appreciate Guru Raj, who has been throughout the camera for this entire session. So thanks Guru Raj for this. And now I also open up the floor for any questions if anyone has. So you can now unmute yourself and you can ask any questions. In case anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask by unmuting yourself.
Hey Ashutosh, I have one question here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know we have gone through the same content, but I do still have one question. Like, what's next, Ashutosh? Like, I know the norm would be changing. It's not going to be the same thing.
Correct. So what next? Yeah, I mean, wish we knew what was next, right? I mean, we'll have to, as I said, one of course is the remote way of working. Hybrid way of working is what is reality now, right? As we keep ahead, right? Hybrid way of working is a reality. Also, you will see that as a coach, somewhere what I also see is that your neutrality might be questioned. For example, if you're, let's take a very simple example. Let us say we are in office, you and I are in office, and Albert is at home, right? Working from home. And we discuss something. So Albert might think, what is Ashutosh and Guru Raj discussing, right? I mean, I'm left out of that communication. So communication will become, it will have a different dimension altogether now, right? Because see, we might be in a meeting, you, me, and Albert might be in a meeting, but after the meeting is over, we both can still chat, right, on that problem or on that situation, where Albert will be left out, right? I'm just giving an example here, Albert, just picking up your name. But this is the dimension which we as coaches will have to think, that how is that consistency maintained? How do we make sure that no one coachee feels that he or she is left out of that situation? I think that's the world where we are entering into now, which will be a little more challenging world to for we as coaches to go ahead with and coach our teams. I think that definitely is one of the challenge what I foresee.
Yeah. So as you were speaking, I think while giving the solution to this, or maybe something like maybe elaborating the problem further, like even taking to the Scrum Masters, Ashutosh, like I think the Scrum Master would also be there to motivate the team, right? Like if he is working from office and if there are only few people, then other people would definitely feel like they are not been getting the same thing which they are getting from office. So I think like what you're bringing, coach and coachee, I think that would also be applicable for Scrum Masters also, I guess then.
Exactly. That will be applicable for Scrum Masters. And then, I mean, so it could go in a negative way also. Just because I'm in office, the Scrum Master actually is not happy with me and he quite catches me, right? He says, now that you're in office, let me tell you what things you're doing wrong, right? I mean, so there are different dimensions to it, what I'm trying to tell, the problem. So, those are the things which will happen, right? I mean, and we know, right, how people take to it, right? I mean, we have a lot of issues related to talent management, right? We have a lot of issues related to performance management. So obviously those things will have to be taken care when we go into this new hybrid way of working. Here, at least we have 10 people at 10 different locations with no one-to-one interaction. Earlier, we had 10 people at one location with a coach there. Now we have 3 people coming one day, 2 people coming the next day. And then the coach also may not be there with all the people. So, I mean, I don't know. Should a coach be there for all the 5 days in office? I don't know, because you have 5 team members coming on 5 different days in the office, right? I don't know how it will operate. So that's a very tricky situation we are going to be in, definitely. And of course, on an infrastructure front also, your entire office infrastructure has to be upgraded on a hybrid way, where you could have some people on the VC, you could have some people on, let us say, the Teams, and some people on a telephone line. So that entire infrastructure also needs to be upgraded in that case. Yeah. Anyone else? Any questions?
Thank you, Ashutosh.
Yeah. So yes. Yeah. Thanks, Guru Raj. Yeah. Anyone else? Any questions? Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask questions. No questions? Okay. Yeah, we'll just wait for some more time. I'll see meanwhile on LinkedIn if there are any questions. Yeah, you can also type in the questions. If you have any questions, you can also type in the questions. That also would help. And I'll be more than happy to have a look at the questions if you type in. In any case, LinkedIn questions I'll be answering one-on-one to you. Because obviously I may not be able to see all the questions on LinkedIn, but I'll definitely answer those questions one-on-one to you or in a group if the question warrants that response, which the entire group would like to know. I'll definitely address these questions, I would say one-on-one as far as LinkedIn is concerned. Okay, no questions. Yeah, if anyone would like to come on a camera quickly, please feel free to come. I'll be more than happy to have a look at you face to face. If anyone is comfortable, please feel free to come on a camera. Okay, thanks, Rashmi.
You're on mute, Rashmi.
Okay. Yeah, Rashmi, you're on mute.
Yeah, I was just saying session was very helpful and it was good.
Thanks, Rashmi. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Okay, so thanks folks for spending your Friday evening with me. I know it's an investment what you have made of time, and time is more important and more valuable than money. I think we all know that, right? So really appreciate you spending the last 50 minutes with me, and really grateful and thankful to all of you. Keep watching the space. There are more happy hours of coaching session planned. Do attend these sessions, let your friends know, and I'm sure there is, even if there is 1% learning from this session, I think it's a worth of your time investment what you have done. So on that note, I wish you all the best for your future endeavors, and happy festival seasons for those in India. Happy Navratra to all of you. And yeah, bye for now and have a nice weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashutosh. Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, sir. Yeah, thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye.